For art enthusiasts out there, listen up, guys. Filipino-American public artist Jefré Manuel, simply known as Jefre, is holding his very first solo museum show in the country starting next week. The homecoming exhibition is called Points of Origin, and it's all happening at the Metropolitan Museum of Manila. Jefre joins us now live here in the studio. Good morning, Jefre. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming out.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you, man. Now, listen, you guys have probably seen Jeffrey's works. They're hard to miss. They're monumental. He's the man behind the huge time sculpture in SM Mega Mall, the giant Bayani and Pag-asa sculptures out towards MOA, the Double Dragon Meridian Park along EDSA in the Bay Area. And now you're back here in Manila for a solo museum show. Wow, I gotta tell you, your body of work is huge in a very literal sense. How are we gonna contain your work and its scale in a museum?
Well, it's funny because people wanted me to call it XLS, extra large, small. You know?
Yeah, okay. So how's that gonna work out for you? Tell us about this show.
So the show in general is, my first museum show was in the U.S. called Points of Connection.
Right.
And this was my opportunity to bring the show here and call it Points of Origin.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, being a Filipino-American, me connecting with my roots was an opportunity to share my work and what it means for me to be Filipino and how I use these large-scale works to inspire other Filipinos.
Okay, well, that's sort of the big picture in terms of points of origin. Tying it to that theme and to that title. What's the concept in terms of types of artwork that we're going to be seeing here? Obviously, I know you best from your large-scale, public art done up in a lot of metal work and that sort of thing. Is that what we're going to see here in this particular show?
Yeah. So you'll actually see smaller versions, if 3-4 meters is still small, of some of my iconic works within the museum. So it actually really almost transforms some of the large-scale small. But then also there's issues in there and storylines that relate to me with my issues with heart disease, ideas of immigration.
Right.
And there's a lot of different mediums in there in terms of mixed media that people will be very interactive and be part of.
Going back to heart disease, I mean, we were chatting and I was amazed to hear that you've been practicing your art, creating art in the last 10 years. And part of that was, a big part of that was actually suffering a heart attack, am I correct?
Yeah, at 35, I had a heart attack, triple bypass surgery.
Wow.
Quit my 9-to-5 job and just started to want to do icons. I said, when's the last time we've done the Eiffel Tower or Statue of Liberty? And I wanted to be that guy.
Right, and you are that guy. And let me tell you, it's hard to miss your work. Like I said, it's all over the place, and it's very hard to miss. We're going to be seeing more of your work with an upcoming large-scale sculpture again called the Victor, I believe.
Yes, so the Victor will be hopefully inaugurated and finished on Independence Day. And it will be the Philippines' largest sculpture.
Wow.
It'll be taller, a little bit taller than the Statue of Liberty.
That's amazing.
Because it's a tribute, essentially, to the American dream.
That's amazing. All right, well, let's go back to your show. How are you preparing for a show like this? We're going to be seeing some of your iconic works. Are you also, or have you also created new works in preparation for this show?
Yeah, so there's going to be new works there specifically for the Filipino. There's actually figurative sculptures to some of your celebrity icons of the Philippines that I've immortalized into stainless steel. And I'll be there to kind of help share my process of my work and share what it means to be a Filipino.
And speaking of the process of your work, we're seeing, I just saw some images and little video clips of how some of these pieces get put together. It's amazing stuff. I mean, like I said, I can't wrap my brain around the idea of creating something in the scale that you do. How do you go about that? Where do you get your inspiration? And what's your current mood in terms of the flavor of your art?
So it's like, I essentially say it's like building a building.
You're right.
At that scale, you have to think about engineering.
Exactly. You're an artist. You're an engineer. You're a logistics coordinator.
Yeah. Project manager, construction, fabricator. I think when you create icons, are almost like monuments. And you almost have to think of being an architect. And that's sort of actually my background is in urban design and architecture.
Right.
So it was easy for me to translate this into public art. And a lot of the influences of my public art are really about the people that they reside in. Like, for example, the Bayani Pag-asa or the Mega Mall, which relates to the people that are about that area or region.
Right. What about the material that you choose to work in? Like you said, you have a background in architecture, obviously. constructing in a material like this is nothing new to you, but polished stainless steel and the nature of this material does obviously lend itself well to the kind of art that you do.
Yeah, well, you've just answered yourself. Like stainless steel is one of the most robust materials. So I'm looking at not only creating something that's iconic and timeless, but something that's going to be there for a long, long time.
I love it. That's the way to think about it. You know, what mark do you leave? And it's a mark that as big as you leave. It certainly is an inspiration. Speaking of inspiration, a lot of people are going to be wanting to catch the work, so please do invite everybody to start, or rather to catch the exhibit. When does it start and when is it happening?
So it opens this week at Art Fair, during Art Fair Philippines Week. It's the biggest week of art in the Philippines. It opens to the public on February 15th, so please join me there. It's at the Metropolitan Museum of Manila. And with our sponsors, we're able to actually give the admission for free. So anybody can come this week for free to enjoy the art. I'll be there most of the week. Come say hi, please. And it'll be an amazing experience to kind of share my work and my love for the Philippines.
What an amazing gift. Thank you so much, Jeffrey, for joining us this morning here on New Day. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Paolo. Appreciate it.